Hi, you guys. Welcome to my somewhat messy space to craft. This is Allison. So I'm ready for some more out of this world scrapbooking, but it's real world, and that's why my desk is kind of a mess. So I've done a number of process videos lately using some really old Creative Memories paper kits that I had and Christmas kits. So I thought it was time to bring out some new paper kits. I'm working on some sort of play and beach photos from my cruise. And so I pulled, my daughter was wearing very bright pink, her sunsuit at that time. And so I wanted to bring out some kits that had pink. And you know, there's not a ton of pink in beach themed kits. A lot of them are more primary colors. So I found two to choose from. The first is Bella Boulevard Island Escapes. I got a value kit from this, and so it includes some plaids and dotty with it, and ephemera and stickers and all sorts of things. So this is one possibility, and it looks pretty good. See, here's the ephemera. It's a really bright plaid, these hexies, that could be fun, some good cut aparts, lots of stickers and stuff. So that works. I could make it work. I'd sort of have to do a 2-page kit, I'd sort of have to build on some white cardstock, which is not a problem. But I thought I'd look at one more to decide what I'm going to use for my page kit. And this is just a small portion of what's in that Island Escape kit. And so the next one I pulled out, and here are the pictures, just so you can see all of them. She didn't get soda very often then. Of course, now she's completely addicted to Dr. Pepper. That's she and I, and then that's my daughter with her grandma on the beach. And then these where she's playing on a little playground. So I thought with the palapa in the background here and all of this sort of rustic look. The other one was a little too contemporary, and so I found this, which is Echo Park Summer Dreams, and it has this nice creamy wood grain in it, which I thought would be great for background. And then I'm going to try and use at least some of these little flamingos in here, partly because I am not going to use the bikini page. Can't see myself using that. So use up some flamingos just in a little strip or something. And then there's this fun stripe, multicolored and kind of a madras plaid and a polka dot. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and commit to using Summer Dreams, and I will put the Island Escape away. There are a bunch of other papers in the Echo Park kit, but I just pulled out, so you didn't have to go through a full kit review. I just pulled out a few things, and then there are some fun stickers. This cruise was in January, so I won't be using the summer things, but I can still use the flip-flops, and we were in the Caribbean, so Vespas are always appropriate. And then just some of the fun things from here I'll be using. And I have lots and lots of other beachy ephemera that I'll pull out once I get my base pages done. So I'm going to want a 2-page layout. I will want this on both pages, so I just need to decide, rather than cutting it like this, I'm probably going to cut it vertically to sort of not be cutting off these nice vertical lines. So I'll do a vertical, probably a vertical half and half. And just need to decide what I want for the second half. I think I'll use these for matting. This is kind of too bold for matting and other things. And so I'll probably do this paint look for the other half and half. So let me get those things accomplished and build the base page and figure out the layout of my photos, and I'll come back to you. Hi, you guys. All right, small change in plans. So I am still going to do the half and half, and I had pulled out some really cheap thin paper from a paper pad to use on the back side. Two reasons. First of all, it's thin, but it's a plain color, so I'm really not going to use it, maybe for mats in the future, so not a big deal. And it wouldn't add too much weight to my pages. And that way I could piece this together. However, I decided that I really wanted something here to separate, to sort of help this transition. So the best paper for that in this kit is actually the backside of this, which I need the full 6 inches. So if I put it on a frame, like a 1/2 inch frame, and use something like this dark blue cardstock, then when I can really rough these edges, because I really wanted roughed up edges on everything, roughed up and inked. So I think that then will show up better if I do that. And then I can cut a 1/2 inch off this paper for each side and use that little 1/2 inch strip down here. So that's my plan. I went into my stash and found this super dark blue. It's actually a Creative Memories cardstock that I will use there, and cut a 1/2 page here. And then I don't need the thin paper for backing anymore. I could still use that paper and gut this, but it's not that precious. I have lots of cardstock, and cardstock is easy to get. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I want a 1/2 inch off this one, and my challenge will just be to be consistent with my 1/2 inch. So I have sped this up about 3 times so that you can see as I build the page, but not, spend the almost hour that I spent doing this. So I'm trimming off 1 inch off the bottom, and then the 1/2 inch off the side of the multicolor stripe. So here's the 1/2 inch, and then I'll flip that over to use as sort of the divider between those 2 sheets. And then I go to start taping them down, and remember that I want to distress everything with my distress tool. So here I'm just double checking. Here I go. Tape runner. And then I'm like, oh, time to distress. So I have a Creative Memories distress tool. I know that Tim Holtz has one. And so, and there may be some others. Sometimes they're on special offer at different places. You can just use your scissors to do this, but I really like the way the distress tool sort of fits in your hand with your thumb, and it makes it easy to do this. It does make a lot of mess on your paper. You know, bits of paper everywhere, sand, like sand. So I go through a little bit of a process here trying to decide which ink I'm going to use, distress ink I'm going to use. And I tested out several on a little scrap piece of paper that I cut. I don't know why I spent so long trying to decide. I don't think it makes that huge a difference, but I ended up with tea dye as my color, and it's a distress ink, I think, rather than a distress oxide, just because that's the color that I have. So you can see the three colors there that I tried. Walnut stain, it had some nice, you know, bluer undertones, but I really like there's quite a bit of orange in the pink in this, so I used the tea dye for all of my distress inking on everything. Here I'm using the Creative Memories matte just to line things up so I can get a good ½ inch on either side, and then I'll be able to fit the second sheet, the second page of the layout to it. So I did not distress the inside line of this. I did do both sides of the little strip and the touching side of the wood grain paper, so that they would make a good distressed border there between them. So I do this, and then I do the same for the other side. It does go a little faster on the other side, since I know what I'm doing. So I just got back from a short trip to Las Vegas. We didn't stay on the Strip. We stayed at a friend's house who lives there, but we did do a little gambling in a local casino, and spent one evening sort of walking the Strip and having dinner at the Cheesecake Factory that's there in the Forum Shops, and having a mojito. So that was the first time I'd had an adult beverage, I think, just about in the over a year and a half, because I was going through chemotherapy. So it was a fun getaway. My daughter went to hang out with her bestie that lives there, and they slept a lot and talked a lot. Went to see a show. So maybe I'll get a few pictures and make some pages from that trip. My daughter is 17 now, so these are old photos. So if I decide to scrap some current photos, you'll get to see she's changed just a bit. Just double checking that my cuts were straight. And this process is almost finished. I really could have sped it up even more, but then it looks a little too jumpy, I think. So I do like the way this came out. I decided to cheat the little border strip to the outside so that the white was a little slightly bigger than the colored patchy page. So it's not exactly 50-50, but pretty close. So I think you end up with 6 inches on the wood grain, and then about 5 inches showing on the multicolored stripe, if you account for all the borders and stuff. All right, so now I'll just figure out how I want my photos laid out. And I like, this does change a bit. I do end up trimming some of those photos down in order to fit them all on this 112 by 12 page for matting. So I mat the first one and then take a look at it just to make sure I like it before I commit to chopping up the whole paper. So I'm about to transition here to after I've matted all of the photos. I did manage, I trimmed them quite a bit to fit them on there, but I did manage to get everything inked. I will then go through the process of distressing, I got them all matted, and then I then go through the process of inking them and distressing them. And now I'm picking out ephemera. So in just a moment, we'll revert back to real time as I talk about the ephemera, and I will end the voiceover. So I just finished recording and then realized I think maybe I didn't record. So I'm going to stand just to verify that this is working. So what I did was I took all those different pieces of ephemera that I had selected and I distressed them. I first took my embossing powder and de-stuck them a little bit so they're not as sticky. I distressed them with that distress tool and then inked them. So I did that with all of them. I had thought I might not use this one, so it's not distressed yet or inked, but I kind of like it as an anchor for these embellishments here. The only thing that's not working for me now are these two little flowers. So I think I'm going to pull those for now and see how I feel about them. I still have a few other things that I can pull in. Like this one says beach, so I might be able to work that in. I also, I have this one that I think I might be able to work in instead of the floral, so that might be fun, but it needs to be distressed and inked. So I made my title here, Life is a Beach. I made little fishtail banners, and that's so that I can pull in this color. I haven't distressed and inked those yet, but that's going to happen. And then over here I made a little journaling box, and I have this frame that looks like sort of torn paper. I haven't used it very often, so I took advantage of the opportunity, and it's actually nested frames, so I cut that because I really wanted to get that polka dot paper on here. Set this on there, not straight, just rough cut this and then distressed and inked it also. There's a little fun journaling area, so that'll work for that. That could use a couple more items. Maybe I'll move this vacay over here. for underneath it. So nothing is stuck down. Everything's sort of unsticky at this moment. But this is where I think we're going to end up. This is going to be sort of tucked into this space. So let me get all of these things. I'll finish the distressing on a couple of pieces and I'll get everything stuck down. And then I'll come back when we're ready for enamel dots maybe, or some spray ink, and finish this off. Thanks a lot. Okay, psych. I told you guys I would be back when everything was down and done, but I was looking at it and I didn't think that the title was popping off enough right here, and so I decided that I would do a little mixed media, which is not my norm, you guys. This is a big step for me, so I experimented first to see which color did I want. This is Vintage Photo, and I definitely knew I wanted oxide because it dries, you know, with that little more dusty look, and then picked raspberry. I ended up using both, and I just added some water on my palette and then sprinkled it. So I did it in these two areas and then just a little bit of the Vintage Photo up here. After everything's down, I may add a little bit more on top, but I'm pleased. So this is a big step for me to take that risk. Back in a minute. Okay, for some reason it took me ages to get these enamel dots down. So I picked them from two different packets, neither of which were this particular Echo Park kit. One was, I think, Pool Party, and one was a little girl play all day or something. So I did a pink, a teal, and a kind of a mustardy yellow. So I just sped it up so y'all didn't have to sit through 10 minutes of enamel dotting, because we all know how to enamel dot in a trio. I did 3 sets on the page. And the next step is just to come back with some final close-up shots. I was really pleased with the way the title came out. It shows up better with that Distress oxide underneath it, and the banners look really cute, and so I just sort of tucked the Life is a Beach in around the banners. So very happy with the way that turned out. And I'll end this part of the voiceover so that you can hear me in real time for the next section. And time for some close-ups. So here's my title using stickers from Echo Park sticker book, and I made the banners. Everything is distressed and inked. So Life is a Beach. And then I found this from the Bella Boulevard. So added a few things. And then here's an embellishment cluster with just a variety of stuff from different sticker books and ephemera packs. And then here's my journaling area with that Distress Oxide. And here you can see the Distress Oxide. It came out really well. I'm very pleased with that. So here we have a really fun rustic beach page. Pretty happy with that. So please come again I have more haul videos, I'm sure, coming up. I'm going to try and do at least 2 process layouts a week, 1 card video a week, and then we'll see what else happens. Thanks a lot, you guys.